Hello and welcome to my podcast, my very first episode, where I am going to talk all about escape rooms, escape games, games masters, and players, and probably a few things that crop up in between. Have you ever wondered what it's like to design and open an escape room? Do you wonder how we make things happen in the room? Do you wonder just what the games master is up to whilst you're playing your game? And are you curious about what we see players say and do? If so, then definitely subscribe because this is the podcast for you. Of course, anyone is willing to listen to this podcast, but it will make the most sense to those that have played at least one escape room, and I'm going to assume that most of you have. If you haven't, you definitely need to go out and experience one because they are super fun. I've been playing since 2014 and I still haven't got tired of them. They're just really, really fun. If you enjoy puzzles and you enjoy story and thematic scenarios, then you will love it. I'm going to hopefully include lots of funny stories in this podcast. So games masters and owners will also enjoy listening, as you guys can nod along in agreement and chuckle to yourself as you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Gemma, and I've been enjoying escape rooms for 5 years now. I played my very first one in 2014, and then I started working for that company. I remember doing the first one and just thinking, wow, what did I just do when I came out? I did it with my family and I'd never heard of escape rooms before, so I didn't really know what to expect. I just heard of this thing opening up down the road from where I was living, and I've always enjoyed puzzles, so it sounded quite fun. The first room that I did was a pirate-themed escape room, and I'm really lucky because I set the bar quite high. Well, I didn't set the bar, but the bar was set quite high with my first escape room because they were a great company and they'd really invested time, money, and effort into making their escape room. So my very first one, even though escape rooms hadn't been around for that long, was really good and really polished, and the puzzles were excellent. So I can imagine that at that time in 2014, when escape rooms hadn't been around for that long, that there probably were some quite rubbish ones around. There were, probably people that didn't really know much about it and just kind of thrown them together. And of course people still do this now, but I'd imagine when they first started that happened more. So I do think that I'm really lucky to have played a really great game for my very first experience. So as I was saying, I played with my family and none of us had any idea what to expect, and to be honest, my family didn't massively enjoy it that much. I seem to be the only one in my family that enjoys escape rooms, but luckily I've got loads of friends that enjoy them, so I'm never short of people to play with. But they enjoyed the experience while it lasted, and we did have a laugh trying to figure out just exactly what we were supposed to do in this room with all of these things and objects and puzzles around. Anyway, we did actually escape, and I was just blown away. I just thought, wow, what was that? What did I just do? But it was so much fun. I loved it. So I knew the owners of that particular escape room, and so I approached them and asked if they needed any staff, because for that particular escape room, the games master had to dress up and be in character, which again I absolutely love. If there's anything to do with dress up, I'm there. So it just looks so much fun. Luckily for me, they said yes, and they did want some extra help and an extra pair of hands, so I started working for them not long after that. I should probably say that this all happened in Cyprus, I was living in Cyprus at the time. And unfortunately for that, well, for me being a games master, I was leaving Cyprus not too long after I started working for them. So I did actually only end up working for them for a couple of months. But I absolutely loved it. And I felt like I had found what I wanted to do. And at that time, I was still travelling and working abroad and having some experiences. So I knew that I wasn't quite ready to do it yet, but I knew that once I found where I wanted to live and, quote, settle down, unquote, then I would definitely want to work in an escape room. So that was my first experience and my first role as a games master for not very long, but it was brilliant. And then about 2 years ago, I started working for another escape room, and I worked there for a year as a games master. And then I moved on to another escape room, which is my current place of work. And I'm currently a full-time supervisor at that company. So if you add it all up, I've probably got about 2 years experience of working in the industry, but I've got longer in playing escape rooms, and also I have been involved in some game design and room designs and puzzles and stuff as well. So hopefully with all of that and everybody that I know in the escape room industry, I'm going to have plenty to talk about for this podcast. I really hope that you enjoy it, and I'm keen to hear from anyone that has any questions or comments, especially if there's something you'd really like to know, or you're curious about, or have wondered from playing an escape room, you wonder how do they do that, or what happens when that happens, etc. So if you have anything that you want to ask me, then please do drop me a line. You can get me on Facebook, search GM the GM, or you can email gmthegm@aol.com. So I'm really excited to keep going with this. This was sort of just an introductory podcast, really. Just wanted to introduce myself and what I'm going to be talking about. And please do tune in next time to hear exactly what a games master is and what they do. So if that's something you're curious about, then my next episode will be of interest. Thank you so much for listening, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye!